Hey, welcome back to the Freedom Path Investors podcast. We are number 16, I think, here today,
Yeah,
Jay.
number 16, man.
And today's going to be a treat. We have one of the more established real estate investment business owners here in the St. Louis area, Mr. Jim Manning from Three Doors. What's going on, Jim?
Welcome.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it, guys.
Awesome, man. So, hey, guys, if you've been tuning in to our podcast, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Make sure you're subscribing to us on all those channels, and you'll stay up to date when new episodes are coming out. But so, Jim, man, you've done pretty much everything in the real estate investing space. I believe you started as an agent, right? Or correct me if I'm wrong there.
When I got started, I started out as a real estate investor that got his license to run comparables. I don't want to have to rely on a real estate agent to do that for me. I wanted to be kind of in more control. Yeah. And I started out in 2008 when everyone kind of the sky was falling in real estate, and we were in the kind of the beginnings of what was known as like the Great Depression, when the market was tanking and real estate was the cause of the recession. So when I told people I was getting real estate investing, they kind of told me like, are you crazy? Are you insane? Like, why would you want to get started at this time?
Yeah. Real estate investing was not in vogue at that time. That's for sure.
It was not. And one of the reasons why I got really interested in it was there's a quote by Warren Buffett that says, I might botch this up, but the idea of it says is you need to be greedy when everyone's afraid, and afraid when everybody's greedy. Yep. And I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm starting out. I don't know what I'm doing at all. And I'm starting out. So why don't I give myself a little bit of time to get really good at this? So when the market does swing back, I actually know what I'm doing and I can take advantage of it. So yeah, as the market was diving, I didn't know what I was doing, and it took me a long time to get going, but I kind of kept moving forward and trying to figure it out. And I was a slow start, guys. So like people look at us now in 2018, we did 588 deals. We've done several hundred deals in 2022. We're here in 2021 now. So like over the course, my business partner and I, we've done over 2,000 deals in our career. Wow. And when I tell people like that, they look at me like, whoa, that's amazing. And then I flipped the script and I said, well, do you know how many deals I did my first year? Do you know how many deals I did my first 18 months?
I think I know the answer. You've told me this before.
Yeah. My first year was 0. I did 0 deals in my first year. And then I only did 1 deal in my first 18 months. Yeah. So what's cool about it is it doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter how successful you've been or haven't been up to this point. You can still get this going and figure it out, and don't judge if you're just starting out. Do not judge yourself based on me saying I've done 2,000 deals because we have a team now in place, and I'm not actively doing any of the deals. I really am the visionary of the company, kind of doing more strategy and big picture things. Right. And we're doing 2,000 plus deals because it's been a 13-year body of work, not a 6-month body of work or not a 2-month body of work. So if you really want to compare yourself to me when I first started out and I did 0 deals in my first year. Don't compare yourself to 13 years into this full time, what we're doing now.
Yeah. So if you can think back to the beginning for me there, what kind of deals were you doing early on? Were you trying to wholesale or flip, or what was going on back in 2008?
Yeah. So when I started out, I kind of started I was really insecure about losing money on a deal. I was just out of college. I did a corporate America job, and I realized, man, I hate this job. I walk into the doors. This is my first job out of college. My parents were so excited. They were so happy for me. I come from a middle-class family, and I walk in the door, and I realized within 5 seconds of being at that the corporate America thing wasn't for me, and I was going to hate every second.
Was it the cubicle?
It was a cubicle. Yeah. Yeah. And here's the deal. The company was a fantastic company. If the corporate America thing was your thing. But for me, it felt like I had like a leech, like that was attached to my neck and slowly draining my lifeblood out of me. And I was just like living just a miserable life. Like every second I was at that place. So I knew right away, I was like, I have to find something. And And what I did was I was really insecure about not knowing things. Okay. I thought,
Mm.
okay, well, like I've learned that knowledge is power growing up. That's what they teach in school. And so I thought, oh, I stumbled on this real estate investing thing. Oh, this is what I really want to do. And so I spent an entire year trying to learn everything that there was about real estate investing. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm 13 years into this, and there is way more that I don't know than I do know right now. And I've
Well,
been
as
doing
soon
it
as you
for
figure it
13
all out,
years.
it's going to change, and the market's going to dictate,
Something else, a different strategy or something like that you have to go with.
So were you like going
Yeah.
through the YouTube university, or were you following a coaching program to get started, or?
So YouTube University, like the way it is now, and this is a crazy thing, like at our fingertips now, there is more knowledge, more information available when it comes to podcasts and YouTube than ever before. And I
Absolutely.
didn't really, in 2008, you really didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
You had, I spent like $1,000 on an online course on how to work with contractors that I studied and kind of went through. And, but I didn't have all these YouTube videos. But the problem with it is, I mean, think about this, guys. Like it's 12:20 at the time that we're recording this. Do I remember what I did at 8 a.m. today? Okay, I was starting my day. I was working on some strategy. I do. Do I remember what happened at 8 a.m. yesterday? I kind of don't. So I
Yeah.
spent an entire year learning things, and whether that was like if you're on like a bigger pockets, like a forum or like on YouTube or wherever, and people mistake learning for actually developing skills is what I've found. So I spent a whole year learning, but the learning, then I'd forget 80% of what I learned, and I would get really hazy on, well, was this important? Do I need to do this? Do I not? And then I have another guru tell me another idea. So I buy another product. And then now I have two products. Which one do I do first? And it just created this like analysis paralysis that
Sure.
I just couldn't quite get through. And the thing that was like the eye opener for me, like the thing that kind of got me over the edge in my journey was Ryan Wessel's my now business partner.
Yeah.
And I started coaching baseball together. And he
So you
was
guys didn't
already
start out in business together. You kind of were dabbling around until you hooked up.
no,
Right?
yeah. So we didn't. No, we didn't. And so the agreement I kind of came up with him is I thought about it. I'm like, well, I really need somebody, So like I was starting out, I was trying to learn all this stuff, and I just didn't really do any networking because I was like, I think my ego was blinding me a little bit. Like I didn't want people to know that I didn't know. Like I was like way too insecure to be able to reach out for help and ask people
Thought you had
questions.
to be the smartest person in the room, kind of
Yeah,
deal.
yeah, and and I was 22, and I had I had some immaturities there I was working through, but what I did have was Ryan and I started coaching baseball together, so we started kind of developing, rekindling our friendship. We had been friends in high school and college. We went to different schools, so we kind of lost track of each other, and we started kind of working out a lot together. And then I started asking him questions like, "Well, hey, you're doing this. What do you do when you need to generate a lead? What are you doing like to negotiate?" And then I started kind of getting a little bit more comfortable and like get into action mode. And I said, "Hey, Ryan, here's the deal. You do deals on your own, but I'm going to, if you're willing to answer my questions, anything that I do, I will partner. And I'll bring you in on, and I'll make you some money if you're willing to spend some time with me." So what happened there was I went from what's everything that I need to know to be successful, and like trying to learn the whole book on investing, which I got news for you. 13 years in, I still don't know the whole book. To
Yeah.
I started asking myself different questions. What do I need to do to be successful? And I started doing the activities. And then I had a friend that I could pick up and ask questions whenever I needed that information, whenever I needed that knowledge. So I was able to flip that script. And that's really what I see the most successful people do is it's yeah, act first you're crazy. And I was crazy uncomfortable still, like, cause even though I had spent a year studying, I was still
Yeah.
really uncomfortable. I didn't know what I was doing. But like I had that support. I had the person I could ask questions to, and he would be able to support and answer them. And then it started out. Then I did that first flip over in North County. I made $20,000 on it. I had of which I end up partnering with a different buddy on that one. So I got 10 in my bank. I had 10,000 in my bank account. And as a 22-year-old kid, I think I just turned 23. I was like, I'm rich. I got 10 grand now.
Yeah, you're rich.
Yeah, I'm going to start my own business. And I got in full time, and I kind of lost all of it right away and had a lot of ups and downs. Slowly took off. I think I did 3 deals in my next 12 months. Then I did like 10. And then we did like 30, and then we did 30 again, then we did 80, and then we did 120, and then we did it just kind of kept growing from there as the more knowledge and the more we were figuring out, and the more leverage we're getting by bringing in people. So
backing up a bit, how much experience did Ryan have before you got started? Because it sounds like you guys were buddies in high school. He was 22. You were 22 years old. So what was he doing?
Yeah, he was kind of in the game. Wasn't he an agent like right out of?
Yeah. So he did sucker me a little bit on this one, right? Because so I'm just thinking like, man, he's done like, I think he had done like 5 deals at that point, and I had done 0. So to me, it was like he was like a god or something, like this all-knowing person, and then I started making him enough money. Then Ryan's like, you've been making me a decent amount of money these next couple of years. Like, I think we probably should start partnering together and like actually be business owners. So then we became business owners, and he had a lot of knowledge gaps too, and we went through a lot of ups and downs. So like when you ask yourself, who do I need to be around? It is important to know kind of their integrity, their background. It's also important. I think it needs to be more than one person, because Ryan and I have been around some seasoned investors. When we made one time we bought a barn, guys. It was like 1,800 square feet in Lake St. Louis. We're going to make all this money. Jeff Gardner is he's a buddy of ours to this day. Yeah. I want to say he made about 25K on the wholesale on it. Nice. And we did the flip. 6 months later, we made like $500 on it. Somehow we made a profit. But it's like, we were like, oh, well, price per square foot. So this one has 1,800 square feet, and we'll just take the price per square foot of this normal home that isn't a barn, and we'll apply it to this one, and everything's going to work out. And we're going to make all this money. It's like, so in hindsight, I was like, well, if we had an experienced flipper that we could have just said, hey, I got this barn, what do you think? And it's kind of common sense, but like, we didn't know at that point, we just were we were so bent on this price per square foot valuation. We didn't factor in some of the other intangibles. Right.
Sounds like you're kind of getting into growing your network a little bit there, as far as like, if you knew someone else that was more experienced that could have coached you through that, be like, hey, here's some things you want to avoid, or like, don't buy it or get it at a lower price. So when did you guys start networking, and what kind of networking groups did you get into in those days?
Yeah. So in those days, I was still pretty gripped on just being shy to be around people. So, it was a very small group. So there was Ryan. We had some every once in a while we have some wholesalers or stuff we do deals with, or some investors, but I didn't take the time to really start to develop relationships, because I thought, well, no, I need to learn a master pay-per-click. I need to learn a master direct mail. I need to do all these activities to get us deals that I didn't. Our learning curve and our ramp up was probably about 3 years longer than it should have been had we just started developing the right relationships up front. Because like, we didn't take the time to do that, we were kind of very independent. And if you look at my predictive index, it makes sense why I did what I did, is because I'm like there's independent workers, and like so predictive index is a survey on, like, it helps you assess how you're hardwired. It's a tool we really recommend that we use in our hiring process. And I am like off the charts independent. Like, that's like where my hardwiring is compared to collaborative, right? So it really took me.
I've been working from your bedroom right now, then.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, so I'm here in my bedroom because of I had my baby Drew. So I have 4 kids, and my youngest boy, I have a daughter and then 3 boys in a row. My youngest boy was born 2 months early. Sure. And so we're kind of still in the middle of the pandemic, and we're just being a little bit cautious because his immune system's a little bit weaker. So
so I'm joining you in your Manning household there.
Yeah. So I'm in my 4th bedroom here at our house. But
So
yeah, I mean,
back to the networking, Jim, like was there a moment or a light bulb that went off where you were like, man, we're getting just as much profit from these relation deals that were coming to us from relationships versus putting out all this marketing? And was there a moment that you just made this shift?
yeah. So this is what happened. So Ryan and I were both lead generating. Okay. And he would be lead generating through wholesalers, and I would be doing all the marketing.
Yeah.
And we'd look at the numbers at the end of the year and we'd be like, whoa, we generated 300 grand from wholesalers and 300 grand from marketing. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'd look at it again the following year. Whoa, we generated like 275 this year from wholesalers, but only 250 from marketing. And each year we would look at the numbers. The networking either was equal or actually made more money when it came to gross revenue than doing the marketing. And that wasn't even including like your pay per click, your spend there, or your direct mail or whatnot.
Right.
So fast forward, we were figuring out, we're like, okay, well, what's a good way that we could do kind of like do a better network? So we end up creating our own. We have our Three Doors network where we have about 150 people doing life together now here in St. Louis, and we have people that are outside of St. Louis as well in it, and it was really like we decided to create it because I asked myself the question, like, if I had to do it all over again, what did I actually need? What instead of what do I think I need? And it was this concept of having the right people around you that can answer any sort of question that you possibly need. So that's kind of why we end up starting that and what we've seen results wise, we've seen, I mean, you guys know Dave Stelmach. I think, Brian, you know him pretty well,
Yeah, I
right?
know Dave well. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, we have all sorts of stories. Like, so Dave did 30 deals in his first year and he had no prior real estate experience, but what he had was he had a network of people to ask questions around. Right. So like we see so many people that just dominate what Ryan and I did to start our careers because we created an island around ourselves instead of having that right environment to learn from and grow from and hold you accountable. So yeah.
I see a lot of people that are trying to figure it all out on their own. When I started, I joined up this big national coaching program, paid a lot of money for it, but it saved me. I mean, I did all this activity to hurry up and find my first deal. And it's like, okay, now what? I got it under contract. Where do I go get the money? How am I going to close this thing? So having that network to lean on was huge. So, I mean, looking back, like people always ask me like, oh, well, those things are so overpriced. Was it worth it? I'm like 100%. The relationships I made out of it saved my butt early on and cut down my learning curve. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And that's how we got connected. We were in that same program. And the thing about that program, what's interesting is YouTube actually has now the majority of the content in that program when we signed up for it,
Right.
which it wasn't like that. Like when we signed up, YouTube wasn't the way it is now. Right.
Oh, it's super top secret. You got in trouble if you shared that information, So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we've always been a believer of finding the right mentors or finding, we've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years to, not just from the School of Hard Knocks, we've had our fair share of that too, but just on kind of improving what's in between the ears and trying to help us get to the next level for sure.
Like mindset work and everything like that. Well, hey, Jim,
Yeah.
what was some of your guys like early on? What was some of your exit strategies or your primary exit strategies when you got an investment? So you get the house under contract. What are you doing with it? Are you rehabbing it, renting it, wholesaling it? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, so early on, we were doing a lot of wholesaling on short sales. Like back then, you were actually able to double close on a short sale. We don't do that anymore. I know there's some investors that still do that. We're not comfortable with the arm's length agreement and some of the documents that the banks that the lenders make you sign now. So we don't actually do that, but that started out to be our niche. And then we were looking at that. We were starting to make some pretty good money doing that. And we're like, well, this is a whole lot of work for a $5,000 wholesale fee when we could flip it and make 30. So then we kind of got into doing more rehabbing at that point and doing less wholesaling. Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys have done it all. I mean, flipped, wholesale, rentals. I think you've even done some Airbnbs. I mean, so what have you guys landed on? Like, what is your lane? Like, are
What do
you
you
trying to
love?
focus on certain type of deals nowadays, or?
Yeah. So what we've figured out is we love the lead generation, the negotiations, getting houses under. We do not love the construction piece.
Yeah.
And then we have a whole team of agents now that are like experts at selling properties. We love that end of it too. But the middle piece with the construction, we're not ever quite able to really get to a mastery level. And so what we've decided to do is we've narrowed our focus, and whenever we as a company, whenever there's a rehab that we'll do, we'll actually bring in a partner that will handle the construction, and they actually have ownership in that property. It's not just like a contractor that you give a bonus on at the end of the project.
Yeah.
What that's allowed us to do is to focus and make some of our strengths stronger, and take a piece out that we just, quite frankly, we were, I mean, we had 3 full-time project managers in our heyday, and our product was solid, but it wasn't great. And we were doing the high volume thing with the 3 project managers, and we just never quite, we weren't able to master it with the people that we had in place. We probably would have needed to bring on a partner that had more construction knowledge than we have to really dial that in.
Would you say that's a struggle for most investors out there? I mean, that you talk to? I know it is for many of the people in our network and for ourselves even. So,
yeah, I mean, it just depends, right? Because like there's some contractors that are actually investors too.
yeah,
And for them, like the construction part's their strength, right?
right.
Sure.
But like I am like a sports guy. I grew up playing baseball, and I was lucky to be able to screw in like a light bulb. Like when it comes to construction, like I'm like the least handy person ever. And so like I was able to, over the years, learn enough to know what didn't look right, and I was competent enough to try and get some quality people that I trusted to give me good advice on it. But there was all sorts of things where I didn't know a nuance to save $1,000 that would be just as good of a fix, or I really had to rely on other people around me. And I mean, what it comes down to is like every time a small business focuses and takes a strength and makes it a stronger strength, it typically wins. And by us kind of removing this piece to it and kind of leveraging out other partners, we've been able to really focus on some of the other pieces and make those stronger. And it's really been a win for everybody.
That sounds like a really good strategy. So what's kind of like an industry standard for that deal split with the contractor that you're doing with them? Like a ballpark on what you guys are splitting the profits?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Sometimes, I mean, I see a lot of people doing, hey, I'll pay for it, and we'll do like a 50-50 split.
Yep.
I see, I mean, it's really kind of what you want to do with that partner,
It probably depends what you're bringing to the table. Are they just bringing the crew and the resources, or are they bringing money? I think it's all.
Yeah, and it depends on like what your setup is too. So like for us, it made more sense for us. We actually give them 100% of the profit, the contractor, the construction partners on the deals. But we're making profits we're lending money. So we're making a profit there. We're making a wholesale fee. And then we're making a profit with our listing team listing it. So we're actually, we're making profit all around the actual deal on the actual flip is what we've shifted towards. So the contractors or the construction partners we're bringing in, we're actually giving 100% ownership on it. But like we also have $20 million raised to lend out, and we have a team that's a top 20 team in St. Louis on the listing side already built out. We have a really good acquisition team with some really good wholesalers already too. I don't think I would have Like if I was in year 3 or 4, there's no way I would run the model we're running right now. Yeah.
So bringing up the money that you raised, I mean, that's something I think that everybody needs to get at some point in their business. They need to find better cost of money. So like, what have you guys done to raise that amount of money?
So I wish there was like a secret, like magical wand I could say, hey, wave this and it will work for you.
Right.
The approach that we've used is we developed a PowerPoint presentation that was just like a lending presentation for a private lender. And we went to people we knew that had money and we asked them for help. So we didn't ask them, we didn't say, hey, I have an opportunity for you. Can I pitch you? Stay away. I'm like, you're my nephew. I don't want to like turn you down, but Uncle Don, I mean, I really could use, like I really want your money, so like that's the wrong approach, right? So like what we did though is we developed a presentation and said, Uncle Don, I developed this new presentation. I really just need your help and your feedback on it. If it's something that, cause like I'm going to be presenting this to other people and I could really use your help on, and give me feedback on how good of a job I'm doing. Okay. And what that does is it takes away any sort of pressure and makes it safe to say no. And they don't even have to say no at that point because my Uncle Don 100 out of 100 times wants to help me. He doesn't want to give me money, but at 100 out of 100 times, like if I'm pitching him, but he does want to help me.
Right.
So the sneaky part of that's like, I mean, it's not underhanded. I mean, it's just kind of playing the game a little bit is as you're going through it, if he likes what he hears, wait a second, this might be for me. I really like this, Jim. How much money would you need for this? Oh, like $100,000 would do a deal. Oh, okay. Well, so then what happened then at the end of it, it's, hey, do you know anybody that might be interested in this? And you can ask for a referral there too. So you can get help and they think you're helping them and they are helping you. And you're also presenting them the opportunity at the same time. And then you can ask for the referral to like have them connect someone that they think might be interested in it. So it's a way to lead generate. It's a way to get a practice rep in to develop your skill with it. And that's how we did it. That's literally that simple.
It seems like such a subtle change, but like, have you ever been sat in a timeshare presentation and you just know the whole time? Yeah, you got suckered. You just know you're getting sold the whole time. And what are you thinking? Like, I can't wait to get out of here. When is this going to be over? So
I was thinking you could sign me up.
Yeah, just presenting it like you're asking for help. That's a huge, that's a pro tip right there, I'd say. So good stuff, man.
Yeah, it's really that simple. I mean, success doesn't have to be this big complicated thing. It's simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. It still does take time. It still takes some courage to even have that conversation that's asking for help, right? Yeah. The last thing we want to do sometimes as guys, especially as us guys, is ask for help. Oh no, we can't do that. I can't admit that. I mean, I really struggle with that. It took me a whole extra 12 months to do my first deal because I had that problem, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So Jim, I wanted to bring up, like since I've known you guys, I mean, you've always kind of been the champion of the abundance mindset. You're a bit all about growing your network. But sounds like early on that was a struggle for you just to get out and network with people. So what really helped you to develop that? Was it something you had in you all along or something you had to learn?
That's a great question. So I don't know if I necessarily wasn't like afraid to like share my knowledge. Like when I was newer, I think what I was afraid of was
failure or?
Well, that and like being seen as like insignificant, like being seen as someone that like needs help, like being seen as someone that like can't contribute or provide value. And So that really held me back because like I really didn't want to start networking and meeting people till like I kind of knew how to talk the talk, and I've done a few deals and I'm the real thing and I'm a legitimate and yeah, I mean that really slowed things down, and we've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars on deals that had I not had my ego, I think it was my ego, but had it not been blinding me, like we could have avoided, right?
Yeah.
So, but then, yeah, so then it's, as we started to learn and connect with more people and we started to realize the power of the network. And I really believe that life and business really boils down to two things that are important. I think your habits are important and your relationships. If you can master your habits, and your habits include how you think, guys. Your habits include how you wake up. Your habits include how you show up as a father, as a parent, as a brother, as a son, as a dad, right?
Yeah.
Successful people follow some of the same habits. They have the same successful habit routine. And are you busy all day, or are you actually doing the things you need to do to get results? So to have the right habits, to master how you think and master your actions. And the other part of it's relationships. Okay, because like we can make millions of dollars, but you aren't gonna. I mean, doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? You can't take it with you.
Right.
I kind of learned this lesson. It was interesting. I had right out of college, before I got my first corporate America job, I worked for a guy that was a self-made billionaire. And all I did for 2 weeks was I put barcode labels on his wine so he could have an insurance claim and kind of get some insurance on his wine. At one point, yeah. So he had like 20,000 bottles of wine or something ridiculous. It took 2 weeks to do that. And at one point I had $50,000 in my hands. Okay. I had a case of wine. I have 2 cases of wine that was worth like $50,000. Right. Yeah. So this guy had his own private jet. And I was kind of idolizing this guy. I'm like, whoa, this guy has like a better looking girlfriend and he's 55 and short and fat than I've ever had. It's like, you have to be kidding me. This guy is the man. And we're flying on private jets. We're drinking $100 bottles of Krug champagne or $500 bottles, whatever. He's giving me this vodka from Russia that like tastes like water, but I just got out of college, so I'm like chugging it like I would have in college and being kind of an idiot about it. But like, so like I was like got that taste of how like the finer life, how the really ultra wealthy can live. Yeah. And then he asked me to Thanksgiving dinner, and I said, "Whoa, Thanksgiving dinner! This guy must really like me. That's amazing." So I go to Thanksgiving dinner. And I sit down, I'm like feeling like my chest is kind of held high, just feeling like I'm really important. And then his wife and his daughters sit down. And I realize very quickly that I'm there because the peace will be held if the help's there. That his daughters hate him and his wife hates him. And he has no life. Then after Thanksgiving, I start to watch this guy and I realize, whoa, this guy is less happy and more miserable than my middle-class parents are. And my middle-class parents like bicker a lot at each other. I'm like, whoa, like, just normal stuff. But then I'm like, whoa, okay. So I think there's more to it than just this financial side of things. So like, and that really shaped my life. Like, okay, like if I'm going to go after things as an entrepreneur, I need to always keep the relationships first. My relationship with God, my relationship with my spouse, my relationship with my family. And I'm really blessed. I feel like, yeah, we're doing all of this stuff, but like I haven't had to sacrifice those core things that are important to me. I'm going to be able to look back at the end of my day and like not only say, okay, like I did some good things for real estate and I helped some people out, but also I was able to keep the key relationships. And the interesting thing with like relationships is what people don't realize is like they are so powerful in business, guys. I mean, we've had one wholesaler that sends us about 5 to 10 deals a year, and and we generate 100 to 250 grand a year from him like clockwork because our relationship's that strong. Yeah, and we have that big of a relationship. It's different. Not all relationships are created equally. Some relationships, man, they can open up your world. And it's just because you have the relationship in your friends.
Man, it seems like you guys have designed your business this way to set yourself up to live a more well-rounded life, create those relationships. So, where are you settling into things now? Like the day to day, the visionary. What's a day in the life of Jim look like? What are you working on in the business most of the time?
Yeah. So, I mean, this morning, okay. So like this morning, actually, I'm working on a journey for investors. Okay. And I've been really studying, we've been researching and asking hundreds of investors, hey, what are your challenges? What are your fears? Like, where are your stucks? And we've been asking people like, and we're hearing a lot of things like, how do I find deals? I just don't know what to do. How do I grow my business? I'm trying to kind of get to the next level. And we've been asking all sorts of questions. And so then taking that and like kind of identifying what the pain points are, and then developing the right experience to help kind of bridge the gap to that end goal of, I mean, everybody wants to be financially free. They want a business that that kind of generates them a lot of revenue and a lot of like consistent deal flow, you name it. And so what we're kind of crafting right now is a course to help challenge people to go through the process and overcome a lot of the limiting beliefs that we have in our heads. And one of the most interesting things that, like, some of these limiting beliefs that when I'm looking at it from a different perspective now, I'm talking to someone that's brand new and I've been doing it 13 years. Yep. And what's always so interesting to me is some of the challenges, and some of the limiting beliefs are like, it's like, whoa, this is just so simple. It's not that big of a deal. Like, why are you so stuck on this? Is like what I'm thinking. But then I have to remind myself, wait, I was stuck for 18 months. Like, come on, Jim. Like, let's be a realist here. But I think one of the challenges we have right now is we are in, as a society, we're starving for wisdom, and all we have is information, right? I mean, who has time? I was looking at a 30-day challenge from a well-known kind of quote unquote guru. I signed up for it just because I was curious, and you sign up for it and there's like 1,000 hours worth of content to go through. And it's like who has time for that? I mean, that's crazy, and and then we have YouTube, we have all this information, when at the end of the day, success is really kind of crazy simple. There's not that much to it. Yeah. So how do we have the wisdom to say no to all of this stuff and say yes to the couple key things that will make you money and that will kind of get you to the next level? So we're developing a system that is really, that's going to be modeled after what we've done with our deal makers. And so like David Stelmach did 30 deals in his first year. We've had a lot of other stories. I just mentioned that of successes, like David Beckley. That he came to us. He had done a one deal in his first year. Then he had a heart attack 3 years ago, and then is just now kind of getting back at it. And he just got 4 deals under contract in the last like 14 days. Nice. So what we've been doing is that we've had a lot of successes too. So we're kind of taking, okay, where are you guys struggling with? And these successes that we've had, help them build people up and accelerate people's businesses. And we're creating a program that that the everyday person can kind of implement and use to get results. Not something that has all this information that you need to learn. And the first step of it, actually, so this is interesting. And I don't know why, I don't hear anybody talking about this. So this is really fascinating. So to use an analogy here, okay, if we're going to do a vacation and we're going to plan out a vacation, okay, so what's the first step? Like if the three of us were like, hey, we want to go on a vacation, let's go party somewhere.
Decide where you want to go.
Yep.
Okay. Well, but there's so that's actually step 2.
Oh, wow.
But this is proof to my point. No one understands. I don't see anyone understanding that there is a first step. And I actually, So here's the deal. I actually did it on accident. Like I said, the three of us want to go party somewhere. Okay. So the first step is, what is the purpose of the trip? What's the end result of the trip? So I said it already on accident. I was going to try and get there with you guys, but it's to party for the three of us. Okay.
Yeah.
So where would we go if we were going to party for the three of us? What do you guys think?
Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico's fine.
Mexico. Okay. Cancun. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Okay. So then that's the second step. So then what's the third step?
Plan it.
Yeah. How are we going to get there? Are we going to fly or drive?
Yeah. How are we getting there?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So YouTube University, everyone. So what did we not do? Okay. We did not start with how are we going to get there? We didn't, because we can drive, we can fly, we can take the bus, we can walk, we can bike. And when you think about the hows, that's an analogy for I can wholesale, I can flip, I can do a rental, I can do creative financing, I can do owner financing. There's all these different hows. Okay. So if you start with how you're going to get there without actually designing what the purpose and where you want to go, you're skipping the first step. And then people say, oh, there's all this information. I'm not sure what to do. I'm overloaded. I'm just not sure. I'm analysis paralysis. Every business has a purpose, guys. Every business has an end destination. You have to first decide where you want to go, and you don't have to know how you're going to get there. Did we know how we were going to get there when we decided Mexico? No, we didn't. So, and think about it this way. Mexico, with the three of us drinking beers, taking shots, whatever we would do, that's a whole lot. That's a great location for that. But let's say Jim Manning, I decide I want to go on a family trip with my parents. Okay. That's the purpose of this trip. It's not the party with the three of us buddies.
Yeah.
Are we going to go to Mexico?
No, probably like Branson or
Branson.
Okay, and that's great. So Branson, we live 3 hours from Branson.
3-4 hours.
So yeah.
Okay, so think about this, though, guys. So we live 3 hours from Branson, and we live we have to fly a plane. Okay, so had we started with how we're gonna get there, and we had to learn, and we learned, okay, like let's learn about flying a plane, let's learn about driving, let's learn about all this different stuff, and we decided we wanted to go to Branson. All that time that was spent learning, what plane should we take? Like, what flight should we take? Would have just been wasted.
Yeah.
It would have not, there would have been no result from that. But the other thing that happens to people that's interesting is you don't decide the purpose, then result first. And, Branson sounds kind of cool. I had this guru come on that had a really nice idea. Oh, this sounds exciting. This is fun. Hey, family, let's get going. Hey, wife, we're going to do this thing. We're going to make a lot of money in this investing business. We get in our car and we start to drive to Branson. Then someone else gets on the phone and we run into a different idea that says, no, Cancun's better. You can have all these drinks with your friends. And it's like, whoa, I love to drink with my friends. All right, well, we got to research how to get there. So let's drive to the airport. So then you turn around. You're halfway to Branson already. Then you turn your car around and then go back to where you're from to get to the airport. But then here's what happens. You almost get to the airport and somebody else on YouTube comes up and says, no, Colorado's cool. Skiing's the best thing ever. Oh, should we fly there or should we drive there? Oh, let's drive there. So then you turn your car around again and start to drive to Colorado. And then you start to complain like, man, vacation doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Vacation doesn't work.
This end result, this vacation thing's dumb. It doesn't work. No way. Well, all of that is a symptom of not setting the core purpose first of what you want out of it. Because when your vision is clear, guys, and you know exactly what you want out of your business or out of your vacation, you know, hey, this is a family trip and we're going to go to Branson. When that person comes up with that nice idea about Mexico, no, that's a terrible idea. I'm not taking my family to Mexico. When that next person comes up, hey, there's a ski trip. Do you want to do that? No, I'm not taking my mom to go skiing. She has rheumatoid arthritis. I'm not doing that. And so now when your vision's clear, you get to say no to things and you get to focus and narrow down your focus. I was listening the other day to someone that's talked about the sun, and he says the sun, it takes billions and billions of kilowatts or whatever you call energy. Apparently I wasn't listening to this story well enough to remember the words he used to create the energy for the sun. Yeah. But it only takes like 1 kilowatt to like harness it into like more of like a laser like focus to do some damage as a laser.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like the more we can laser like focus, I mean, there's a saying a lot of people talk about in the niches be riches. You know, there's that saying. Mm-hmm. Well, what that is about getting crystal clear on what you want, focusing things in, saying no to everything else, because the not do list is more important than the to do list. And now you actually have time to get good at stuff. It does take practice, guys, to know how to talk to a homeowner right. It does take practice to learn how to negotiate. It does take practice to walk through a property and develop repair numbers. That's skills that you need. But instead of trying to learn the whole book of real estate investing, now you just have to learn a couple of things to get to Branson. And then here's the cool thing. Once you get to Branson and you know how to get there and have a fun time, then you can call your buddies up and say, hey, let's go to Mexico. I know how to get places now.
I can do things.
You always add on stuff after the fact, after you establish that first thing, that first step of the journey. And that's the other advice I give people too, is like we have the agent team. We have a lot of this stuff going on. We didn't start out that way. I mean, I have a good buddy now that's trying to do 3 businesses by himself. He says, what do you think, Jim? I said, I'm going to change his name. I said, Ralph, Brian, you actually know him, but cause I didn't get permission to retell us, but I said, Ralph, like Ryan and I were investors for 4 years before we added an agent onto our team. Yeah. I've been a broker now for 11 years and been doing this for a long time. Like you cannot, like you're trying to do 3 businesses here. Yeah. We have people could call us having 3 businesses, but we have 150 people in the network. We have an ops team of 10 people. We have 10 buyers, we have 40 agents or whatever it is. But that's like, there was 4 years there where we just did one thing and we got good at it. We got good at going to Branson. Then we started talking.
There's a journey to become a dynamic investor. It just doesn't happen overnight, like you said. I mean, so I guess to sum up your whole story, Jim, which is great. I've never heard a better analogy for shiny object syndrome and finding out your why and everything. I mean, so if somebody comes to you brand new, hey, I want to get my first deal in 60 days. Is that the conversation you're going to have with them? Like, hey, let's find out your purpose first, and then we'll find the vehicle, how to get you there.
Yeah, because your first deal, if you're in corporate America wanting to get to financial freedom as quickly as possible, is a whole lot different than if you're 22-year-old Jim Manning needed to get to your first deal so you can eat, right?
Right.
So like what's interesting is developing the plan when you know where you're going is actually not that hard. It's kind of simple. But you have to first decide, okay, what exactly is that first deal? And so this is the program that we've actually, so what's interesting is we're developing this program to kind of get out to more people, but we've been doing this now for the last 10 years with investors, kind of like on our core team. And it's been an evolution for us because like we've been doing this, but we weren't even like, we're getting more aware of what we've been doing. We've gotten like really good at it and like asking these questions and figuring out, okay, this is what I do there. This is what I do that. So it's been quite the journey, but So we're
tell me a little bit about the affiliate network, what it looks like today. I kind of had a preview. I was in it early on when you guys first started, but what does that look like today?
Yeah, so we have a free resource, doorstodeals.com, which is our our podcast. Actually, I think Brian, I think I'm gonna have you on here, and
You're busy, man. Though we got booked out in the summer, I think. So
we're on like a 6-month window, but
you're on it.
so we have our podcast. It's a great free resource.
Yeah.
And then we're developing this program to like have the first phase of this program be a free resource as well for people. That once it launches, you'll be able to access that on the website too. And then as far as the members go, we got about 160 members. We're calling them pro members now in the network. And we're doing access to the podcast. We're doing our episodes live that people can kind of plug into. We have a online academy that has contracts, working with contractors on rehabs, wholesaling kind of tips and tricks. It's over 5 years worth of content. It's pretty comprehensive at this point. But then we also have a Facebook community, and we're doing bi-weekly masterminds that are the avenue for if you get stuck on anything. Hey guys, I'm dealing with this problem. What do y'all think? And so by having a lot of us in the group, there's a lot of different subject matter experts like tax credits, short sales, you name it. That as you ask questions, there's a lot of people that can help and answer and help accelerate what's going. So that's it. It's pretty affordable. we're looking to, at this stage of the game, like Ryan and I are really blessed. Like we've already built our rental portfolio to, where it kind of needs to be. We just need to pay it down, like we just do that over the next 10 years. And we're kind of good. So like at this point in our stage, it's not really about, it doesn't have to be about the Benjamins anymore. It's really more about helping other people get to financial freedom and helping other people grow their business.
That's awesome, man. And
it's a nice place to be, but it hasn't been an easy place to get to. It's been 13 years of really hard work.
But you're still in your 30s. You started at such a young age, to be at that point where you're just focused on helping other people now, and you're not really in that hamster wheel of like most people and never get out of, like always looking for the next deal, So that's really awesome, man. Sounds like the Affiliate Network's a great resource. I think anybody listening should go check it out, man. So
I appreciate it. Absolutely. Yeah. So doorstodeals.com. You can find more info on it there. Great. Anything I can help you guys out with? What's going on?
I said one more question, man. I'm Jake. I don't know if you got anything, but you've been doing this, like you said, 12, 13 years. What would you say is the key to longevity in business? We've seen a lot of wholesaling operations, burn out really fast, so what's been the key for you guys?
What has been the key? That's a really deep question because
you're on spot. Sorry.
I'm like I'm the typical visionary where I'm like, oh, well, this and this and this, I'll give you like 100 answers, but to like have like one key is a deep question. So I think
everything you've told me here the past almost hour, it sounds like just relationships.
Yeah. I honestly, like if I had one key, it'd be a 2-part key. It'd be develop the right habits and the right relationships.
I was going to say, it sounded like you answered that a while ago. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Well, he challenged me to make sure I committed to that.
It wasn't that. He already told us.
But no, and it's really kind of that simple, guys. People think, oh, it's so hard to find a deal. Well, honestly, I can tell you things to find leads on deals in like 10 minutes. It's not like if you know what you're looking for, seek and ye shall find. The biggest problem is you don't decide what you're looking for first. Right. So then there's nothing. It all looks the same,
It's like you said, the information's everywhere.
Plentiful. Yeah.
Anybody can go out and find the information they need, but it's having the right mindset, having the right connections and relationships and people to lean on.
And then just taking the time to develop your skills. Like if you're going to shoot free throws, guys, you don't just get on YouTube about how to shoot free throws. Yeah. You get to the free throw line and you don't just shoot one free throw. What do?
Yeah.
You say,
Thousands.
okay, well, I'm going to do thousands and thousands of free throws so I can become an expert at this.
Yeah.
And there's no shortcutting that. There's no magic bullet to that. It takes time to develop your skills.
And I think the biggest thing you can say, like for new investors along the lines of that, is like a lot of people want to go out and buy all these, think they're going to wholesale all these deals, but they have no experience talking to sellers or negotiating. And, you know, that might take a while to develop. You got to get told no hundreds of times, you know, to really hone those skills and be a good negotiator. So,
well, yeah, and play the end game, guys. Like I was, one of the things I learned in high school, which was such a blessing. Steve Nicolarat was my high school baseball coach and was like a huge influence in my life. And he got us focused on the process of improving, not on the result. Okay. So baseball is a rough game because if you're good, you still fail 7 out of 10 times when you're hitting.
Yeah.
And one of those times you get out, you might hit a line drive that's a screecher. It's going to the warning track, and the outfielder runs up, makes an unbelievable dive and catches it. And guess what? That's the same thing as striking out when nobody's on. Like, or, you know, like it's just, they're both outs. So like if you start to like say like tie your worth into the result and tie whether this is going to work for you or not in the result, it's going to be brutal for you. Like had I not kind of focused on the process that first 18 months that were really bad for me with results wise, I don't think I wouldn't have gone there. But I just was focused on, okay, I need to get a little bit better. I need to get a little bit better. I need to get a little bit better. And so, I mean, at some point you can learn all day long. You can go to YouTube, learn. At some point you have to buck up, grow a pair, and start doing things. You know. Oh, here's like another fun.
It's like when you think you have a deal, a nice shiny deal, and then, all right, that was a great appointment, I'm going to get that contract, and then it falls right through the cracks, and it's like, okay, I didn't uncover any
deal killers.
I wasn't actively listening to the seller. You take that and you learn from it and you get better on the next one. So
yeah, there's a difference between you're right and that's right. Like they were just saying you're right to get me out the door because they didn't agree with me.
Shut up.
Yeah. You know, here's one more fun fact, guys. While I'm thinking of it is I was curious on this. I said, okay, like YouTube started in 2005. Is there a difference now in the amount of small businesses that start and succeed and don't fail? And I was just curious. So I pulled it up. I pulled up some reports from the SBA, the Small Business Association. That's a government-run association. And there is not a difference in the percentage of businesses that fail since before YouTube and after YouTube.
Interesting.
So there's way more to it than information, guys. There's more to it. If information alone was all you needed, YouTube would be demolishing right now the percentage of businesses that fail. Like it'd be a lot lower because you'd have all the information that you need.
That's a great stat to support your point, man. That's crazy.
So here's the thing: knowledge is power. But we mistake true knowledge with information. We replace it. Information is power. Well, the only way you get to true knowledge on shooting free throws, right, is it's also a physical movement that you have to master.
It's the whole experience.
Skill you have to develop. That's knowledge. Studying the craft of how you shoot a free throw on YouTube does not get you knowledge. That's just information. And if you don't implement that information, it's really just entertainment.
Love it. Take action. Well, Jim, we could probably do a whole nother hour with you, man, but we actually got to go to the closing table.
I'm just sitting here listening like this guy's a sage.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on. And
absolutely, man. So Doors to Deals is the podcast. You guys got a website for it, I think. It's on every listing platform. DOORS2TO deals.com. Doors to Deals. All right, man. Go check it out.
Right on, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, Jim. Thanks a lot, man.